Hello, today I will be showing you how to install the IIS HL7 tester on a Windows machine. The tester can be installed on other operating systems, but the principles of this installation are very similar to other systems. Before beginning, you will have already needed to have installed Java and Apache Tomcat. Once those are installed, this process should go quite smoothly. First place is to go to openimmunizationsoftware.net, which I have pulled up on the screen right here. And from here, you want to click on Interfacing, and then the right-hand menu, IIS HL7 Tester. This is the testing application, the testing web page that talks about the IIS HL7 Tester. You're going to want to scroll down and click on the installation web page. There is a 4-step web page that will step you through the process of setting up the IIS HL7 Tester. I'm going to click on Prepare and open then a new window so we can follow it there. In the first step, Prepare, we have to prepare a local root data folder. And this is a folder where data that the tester will use will be stored at. The tester does not have a database. Instead, it stores everything in the file system. So in my case, I'm going to go to C Users, and there's my Nathan Bunker folder, and I'm just going to create a new folder, and I'm going to call it the IIS HL7 Tester. Now, that should be pretty simple, and I'll go into there. Then what I do is I copy this folder name. Here's what I want to copy. And I'm also inside here going to make a new folder where I actually have the data will get transferred. I'm going to call it Test. So what happens is all the data is going to be transferred by the IIS HL7 tester to the system that you're targeting will be stored in a folder the name of the system you're testing against. If you're testing 2 or more systems, you'll have 2 or more folders here. If you're only testing one system, you'll only have one folder inside the IIS HL7 tester. The IIS HL7 tester is capable of connecting to more than one system at a time. So first step is I create or identify the root data folder. In this case, it suggests C tester, but I'm going to replace it with the value that I got from. So C Users, Nathan Bunker, IIS HL7 tester. I normally just copy and paste these addresses around so I don't get them wrong. And inside that folder, I create another folder. I didn't call it transfer, I called it test. And then I need to choose the default template for configuration. And what happens is that you can configure the HL7 test system to connect to any of these type of systems. In this case, I'm going to do the default SOAP connection. So I'm going to hit Step 2, Configure. At this point, it's going to help me go through and create the configuration file that will configure it. Now the URL, I don't have a particular URL, so I'm just going to make one up. That's like a good one. Let's pick one of the user IDs, and let's pick a password. And I'll say download and save. This information here is the information you need to get from the system you'll be targeting to test with. You'll need the user ID and password as assigned by system in the URL. I'm going to click download and save. And what will happen is it opens up this little window here that explains that it's a ssm.config.txt file. SMM is another name for the IIS HL7 tester. So SSM config file describes how the tester will connect to the system that you're testing. Click on Save File in this case, and I am going to go to, again I want to go to C, Users, Nathan Bunker, IIS HL7 tester, test, and I'm going to say the ssm.config.txt file right there. Now, just so you can see what that file looks like, let me open it up for you real quick here in the Notepad and show you what that looks like. This text file is created and saved in the folder. It says there's a connection. It's labeled as default SOAP. Type is SOAP. The URL is given right here. There's a user ID. The password is actually here. You can't see it. It's been encrypted a little bit, so it's not obvious. And this information, I'm actually going to change the label. I don't like saying default SOAP. I'm going to call this testing connection. Just call it something. I'll call it testing connection alpha. And go ahead and save it. That's step 2. Step 3 now is install. In step 3, it prompts you that you need to install Tomcat, which we have done. We've done Java. I'll just check all those, and I'll say, and it asks you there, indicate where your Tomcat is installed. So let me show you where that is at. You need to go to where Tomcat is installed. In this case, I put it in C program files, Apache Software Foundation Tomcat 7. That's the default place where it'll put. It'll usually put it in this place with the word Tomcat 7 or Tomcat 8. I'm just going to place that right here. And then I'm going to say step 4, download SMM. And it says download SMM. SMM is the name for the IIS HL7 tester. It's the same product. You can select your software version. Usually the default is fine. 1.28 is great. And it says the root data folder. And this is very important. It's copied this from the previous page in step 1. You indicated the root folder. This one says C users Nathan Bunker IIS HL7 tester. So you need to put this folder in here. This is going to tell the IIS HL7 tester where the data files are that it used to connect to the site you're connecting with. It's very important you get this correct, or otherwise it will not know what to do. The username and password, you can set these. I'm just going to leave it as admin. This username and password is what you'll use to gain access to the tester once you have it installed. So I'm going to click on download. In my case, my browser will prompt me of where to save it at to. If your browser doesn't prompt you where to save it as, you'll have to go find it and copy it. But I'm going to save this file and save it to, this is really important. This one needs to go to C, Program Files, Apache Software Foundation, Tomcat 7. And if you notice, before I save this, it actually says that right here. Download and save as tester.war in the Web Apps folder located in your Tomcat installation directory, C, Program Files, Apache Software Foundation, Tomcat 7. So this needs to go right into this Web Apps directory. So this is Tomcat 7, and inside that there's these directories that are the application, like the bin is where the application Tomcat actually runs, but you won't go in there. But under Web Apps is all the web applications that are installed in there, and by default when it starts out it's got these 3, which you won't deal with those. You're going to save this tester war right here, and what that's going to do is it's really a zip file, and this is the tester in it, and once it gets placed in there, Apache Tomcat is going to deploy it. So I'm saving it out now. We're going to actually go to that folder and take a look at that Web Apps. This is the C Program Files, Apache Software Foundation, Tomcat 7 folder. And under Web Apps, we have this new thing called Tester War. Then the next thing I do, I'm going to actually open up my services panel. So I'm just going to search for services here. And it's actually right there. So what you do is you open up your services panel. And if you don't know where this is at, this is an important thing in Windows to actually manage the Tomcat service. If you're in a Linux environment, you'll actually stop and start this using a command. In this case, for Windows, my Apache Tomcat server is installed as a service, which means every time my computer turns on or off, it'll automatically start it. And in this case, it's actually not running. I have it set to manually start. So I'm going to go ahead and start this. I would recommend, if you're going to use this quite regularly, that you go ahead and just put it on automatic, and then it will always be on. But in this case, I just started it. Now, if you had downloaded the application and it was already running in Apache, that would be just fine. In my case, it wasn't. Now we're going back to the web page where I downloaded the tester.war, and if you look here, something has happened. There's another folder now called tester. That didn't exist here before. That was created when I started the Tomcat instance. And what this means is that Tomcat recognized tester.war as being a valid Java web application and has attempted to actually install it. In this case, tester is running there. And that's good news. So I'm going to go ahead and look inside here. You can see tester is running there. That's great. We're going to go also back to the same folder, C, users, Nathan Bunker. And then we're going to go under the IIS HL7 tester. And then we're going to go inside test. If you look here, this folder is quite a bit different than we left it. Last time I just created a folder, and I did say this ssm.config text right in here. But now it's created, now there's all these other folders in here, and these are all created by the tester. And they'll be used in the testing when you go out to use it. And then if we actually look inside Tomcat, Tomcat should be running on port 8080. I think on my machine I've actually configured it on a different port. Yeah, I don't have it on port 8080. But let me just see what port I put it under. Okay, so this is Apache Tomcat version 7. It's running under services, it's operational, and it's listening on port 8086. On your machine by default it's 8080, but I have a lot of different applications running, so I don't always have things running on 8080. And if I type tester like this is the HL7 tester, and it's running on your machine. And if you want to log into it, you'll click on admin, because that was the username and password that I put into it when I downloaded it. And now I'm able to log into the application. And if you look here to connect to IIS, you'll see under accounts, I have this account called Testing Connection Alpha, and that's that description I typed into there. This is actually the connection back to the to this config file right here. So it says Testing Connection Alpha here, and that's the same as Testing Connection Alpha right here. So if I click this on, I should be able to test against this URL. And at this point, you now have the IIS HL7 interface up and running, and you're ready to start testing.